Thank you, and good morning. My name is Chris Fender. I'm part of SAP Partner Management. I focus on utilities and oil and gas. I just wanted to step up here for just 30 seconds and just reinforce that Sierra Digital is very well known, very well respected within our energy and natural resources group, our asset-intensive industries of oil and gas, utilities, chemicals, and mills and mining. They're a partner edge services partner, a build partner, apps on the App Store, industry cloud partner. They're doing a lot of great things with us, and I just wanted to reinforce that to the group. So with that, turn it over to Sierra Digital.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Akshay, Business Development with Sierra Digital Inc., focused on the industry cloud BTP applications, industry cloud, anything with respect to BTP. I'm your guy about that. And today we're going to talk about how we are optimizing capital projects with app innovations delivered on SAP's business technology platform. So again, thank you, Chris, for the quick introduction. Now, the idea is that we know in the next 5 years, maybe in the next 10 years, you're going to see a lot of cloud adoption. This is something that's already happening. And what we're doing is we're trying to make that process as easy as possible. And we're trying to keep your current investment within SAP, your legacy systems, we're trying to enhance, automate, and extend those specific systems. And we're trying to get you to the future-ready enterprise state that SAP, of course, tries to push. One of the main advantages within BTP, as you can see, they're enumerated. One of the main things is the hand-in-glove SAP Industry Cloud solutions that we focus upon. And of course, when it comes to low-code, no-code, things such as accelerated implementation, risk minimization. Now, when the front end is being built out by us, SAP, of course, supports us on the API. So that's one of the best things when it comes to reducing your risks. And along with that, we have, of course, the simplified and enhanced UI, both internal and customer-facing. Now, one of the best things that I personally think about when it comes to UI and UX, especially when it comes to Sierra Digital, is we want folks to get on their systems and start working from the get-go. That's the main idea, that, hey, you have a specific process within your LOB. We want you to get started on that with minimal training. If you have an SAP background, that's fine. But even if you don't, the best idea is to learn this as you go. So maybe a quick video, quick tutorial, and then boom, you're on the application itself. And then, of course, the SAP cross-certified implementation teams, both domestic and offshore. We boast about a 60-40 split when it comes to our offshore and onshore presence. So again, anything with respect to support on that aspect, we're quickly going to touch upon that, but not too much. Most of the idea is that we're going to focus on the success story that we have with, of course, ET. We have Bill, who's going to support us on that. And we're going to talk about how we extended, enhanced, and automated some of the tasks within ET. So these are the session agendas. First of all, we're going to have the session and panelist intros. We're going to then jump into the ET's BTP story. Then how energy transfer story relates to others in the energy sector, along with other industries as well. So we're also going to talk about some cross-LOB platforms that we have built out. And then, of course, we're going to open up to the Sierra SAP collaboration on the BTP side, then open up to questions. And of course, please feel free to ask as many questions as you want. We'll open up at the end of the session. So a few of the learning objectives that we're going to focus on today is, of course, how Sierra stepped in, utilized BTP, and assisted ET in their SAP S4 journey, and of course, when it comes to some of the specific challenges that they were facing. We're going to understand how low-code, no-code application solutions help people when it comes to the aspect of BTP again. And then, of course, learn how BTP helps you take advantage of cloud tech within an upgraded SAP S4HANA environment, above and beyond what is available within ECC. And then, of course, we're going to find out how BTP is not just a solution for a complex industry like oil and gas. We're going to focus on the other side of the house as well, which is regulated industry, anything with respect to public sector, retail, whatever the job might be. BTP is a solution for that. So I'm going to quickly give it I'm going to let the folks introduce themselves as soon as we start, because I know we're short on time. We have only 30 minutes to cover a lot of the stories. So I'm Akshay, business development. I have a bit of background within aerospace and defense, but currently focused on the BTP solutions and BTP line of applications and services. I'm going to pass it over to Will. Thank you.
Good morning. My name is Bill Leroy. I'm with Energy Transfer. We're going to walk through. You can see some of my stuff before on there. We don't need to spend time on that. I want to get on to really what we're here for. So Energy Transfer, one of the largest and most diversified midstream companies we have. In fact, it's actually a little higher than that now, but we have over 120,000 miles of pipeline. And we're in 41 states. You can see on the map all the different places that we are in. So we have a big presence in the energy, not only natural gas, but also NGLs, refined products. Any type of commodity you're moving, we move. Part of what we were looking at to do here was around dashboards and reporting, but also to allow for the project management review of costs to be more streamlined, as well as tackle an AP issue we had and an AR dashboard. Over the last year and a half, Energy Transfer, we've been working on removing manual processes and moving people from data mining to value-added propositions. And so all three of these were labor-intensive manual processes that we took, and we determined ways to automate them so that they were more efficient, ran better, more collaborative. All three of these are also collaborative in nature between different parts of our organization. So I don't know, Kavi, if you want to introduce yourself and talk through that one.
Yeah, sure. Hi, everyone. I'm Kavi. I'm a solution architect in Sierra. I have around 12 years of experience in planning and analytics area. So basically, this is the architecture we did for ET. So they already have S4HANA 1809 version of it. So it's kind of hybrid approach we did for them because their process is very complex, and currently what they do is it's more cumbersome process, going to different screens and taking the report out of it and combining it in a workbook. So it's a manual work that they did for so long. So what we did is we automated with this architecture. So some of the hybrid approach we did in S4 and some we did in the BTP. So and then finally we consumed that in SAC as a front-end application. Yeah. Over to you.
So the first case was on capital project management, and that's reviewing the projects with our project managers to determine on a monthly basis that we're on track from a cost perspective. As you can read through that, each analyst has about 50 projects they work on. They've got to combine a bunch of worksheets. They've got to pull all that together. It takes time to run every one of those in SAP, as well as the 25 to 75 minutes per. So you can see that they're spending upwards of a week to more of their month working on just pulling data together to then sit down with the project managers to go over those projects. So what we envisioned was taking all that manual data gathering, pulling that together from an automated perspective, and then providing the output in an electronic way so that they could then spend the time working with the project manager on solving the issue as opposed to building up the data mine. So as you can see from here, we work through that process. As with anything else that you might think about, when you're dealing with data mining or data manipulation, it takes time, effort to do all of that. And so what we were finding also was that there was so much time put together that you're pulling all this data and then you're rushing to talk to the project manager because you spent so much time pulling the data together. If we can eliminate the time to pull that data together, then you can spend more valuable time with the project managers and get a better understanding of where those projects are at and where the costs are at. So that was our goal, is to, again, go to that value-added aspect as opposed to maintaining the manual data entry. So Kavi, if you want to talk through the solution.
Yeah, so how we got there for this complex problem is that, so they have S4HANA, that's single source of truth, where all the master data and transaction data sits in the same system. So we don't want to take out all the data across different area, like entirely different infrastructure like BTP or somewhere. So we did hybrid modeling. So all the data we consumed from S4, master data and transaction data, and then we wrote a planning function, and we took help of the BPC embedded version, which is a component in S4. So we took help of that, and we created planning function to combine using the CDS views, which are standard, and some we had to develop because of the complexity of the complexity of the issues. So we took those and we combined and give as a hybrid model. So we did all this entire data model and the calculations in S4, and we finally, some of the cases, we did some of the configurations and the data model in BTP also, and then finally we gave report and dashboard out of it. So yeah, that's the complete solution what we gave.
So the next case we had was accounts receivable, which obviously everyone is familiar with, and you want to get cash in the door quicker. And we're working with our commercial folks, our operational accountants in their different revenue groups, as well as cash applications. So you can imagine pulling all these people together and being able to talk about outstanding items can be challenging, between emails back and forth, phone calls back and forth. Just there's no coordinated effort to be able to work on these collections and have one central location where we would store that information. So as you can see, again, we had no central solution for this, no communication tool between the groups, a lot of emails going back and forth, and no automation of assignment as to who's working on what. So what we visioned on this was that we would come up with a system that would allow the business users to be able to have that follow-up, have one central location for everyone to look at. In addition, we would use this on our monthly AR manager review meetings, where we look at the outstanding items and be able to assign people to work on for specific customers. And then also, as either within those meetings or just in general, you can drill in with the tool and get all the way down to the SAP transaction. So it's not just a flat file that we're looking at, but it actually has the underlying data behind it. So if something needs to be looked in further, we can certainly get there. So that was our vision of being able to take it from emails, phone calls, someone talking to someone else, and coming up with a collaborative tool where we could work off of that all together to work on clearing our AR.
Yeah, this is also similar solution what we did for the project management solution. So in addition to that, here we added a portion of text-based planning. So where they can add text for their transaction data, where they can type in what is the reason that the payment got delayed, and also they can assign it to a different analyst, and without needing to send an email across the organization and following up all the details. So we made a comment-based planning, so where they can add comments. And additionally, so we had other requirement and we had to stop, but the other requirement is automatically post based on the selections. Like if the data is already cleared, we don't need to go and manually post in the S4 system. So with our solution, we can just trigger the manual posting or reversal. So all this happens with our tool. So that's the solution we gave it to them. Yeah. Thank you.
All right, and our third and final on our use cases here was on accounts payable, and specifically with the butane blending group. This group has a large volume of small dollar transactions. In addition to that, they have pretty quick turnaround times from a payable perspective. So you can imagine matching up your GRIR between the AP and the AR side of that, or AP and the goods receipt side of that. And we have greater than 15,000 transactions in one account and 30,000 transactions in the other account per month. So you're looking at 45,000 transactions that you're trying to reconcile. And again, it's the same scenarios or similar scenarios we talked about with the AR one, in that it was emails going back and forth, people pulling their own data sets, everyone working off of a different version of the truth. This was, the goal here was about centralizing that so that we had one solution to look at. And again, here, you know, you have the debit posting in the AP group, but you got the credit posting in the accounting group. So if the GR is not there, I can't post the AP, and vice versa. And then trying to coordinate who was going to work on it, who had the point to do it. It was very cumbersome and very manual. And again, no communication tool or centralized communication tool where everyone could work off of the same solution. So similar, we came up with this idea. We said, hey, we need a way to auto-create a report. Everyone uses that same report, have the ability to look at it, again, at a transaction level, just like it at the AR side. and assign at the transaction level to say, hey, you're responsible for this, you're not, and then when you're done with it, you can pass it off to someone else and allow for that. This allowed for the reduction in time to create the report, but then in addition, it provided that centralized collaborative effort report that everyone then could use to be able to solve the equations that we were coming up with. And the other key with this, and it's with all of them, it's also about real time. So if you're spending, I'll go back to the project tracker one. If my project people are spending a week pulling the data together to then have the meetings with the project managers, well, by the time they get to the meetings with the project managers, that data is a week old, right? I mean, it's not real time anymore. Having these automations and being able to pull the data quicker allows for the data to be more accurate and more timely and more close to up to date when you're talking about these things. And then as far as the AP and the AR one, they're in real time. So they're always live and they're always, being refreshed to the current time. So it's one tool, one way to look at it. We are putting metrics around operational accountants looking at this and coming into the monthly meetings, being able to say, there should be a comment on every item when we come into the meeting. See, when you come into the meeting, it's not, oh, I didn't know about that. Oh, let me follow up on that, which is a non-productive meeting. We all know you have access to the data. It's the same data we're all using. We expect you to come to the meeting with the answers to the problems. So either clear the AR or clear the AP, or come to the meetings with answers of why they're not clear, right? So it's making more accountability of people as we work through that. And I'll let Kavi talk about the solution on this one.
Yeah, so this is also same solution as we did for AR. So it's kind of same replica. We had to do a comments planning, like text-based planning. So we gave similar columns for adding the free text comments, and then assigning some of the standard comments. Like they have set of standard comments also based on the transaction. So whether it's stop at invoice is not sent to customer, or because of some delay in the payment processing. So all the standard comments also we have done in the same AR thing, and also assigning analyst also is part of this. It's kind of same solution we did it for this GRIR also. Yeah. So
the next one's back to you, right? But let me just say a few more words before I pass it off. And again, to reiterate what we talked about, or I mentioned at the beginning, is at least in our organization, we're working towards moving people from data mining into value-added analytics work, and that's where we see the vision of accounting moving forward. It's not in debits and credits, and it's not in pulling data together. The computers can do all that. It's around what does that data mean, and coming up with answers, solutions, actions that we can take that provide value either to other groups or help us do our job quicker. So we close quicker, we report quicker, we do everything in real time, as opposed to the delay in having to pull data together that we used to have before we could even start looking at something. So it's all about moving from that manual data entry, non-value-added activity into value-added analytics as quickly as possible. And I don't think y'all talked about it, but that's the other part of this about bringing these things quicker and not having the amount of time that takes to build things that it used to, having these things built up pretty quickly. So I'll turn it back over to you.
Again, thank you, Bill and Kavi, for covering that. So one of the key themes that we saw right now was, of course, we are going forward with BTP. We're trying to save you time. We're trying to save you costs. We're trying to make the most of the current investment that you will have in SAP. And based on the key lines of business, if you could focus on column 1, you see HXM, DSE, ISBN, customer experience. We see a set of common challenges that can be seen in column 2. For example, in HXM, you might have siloed data, reliance on Excel, any of the legacy tools, or budget reporting inefficiency, manual task spending. So it all goes down. For example, if I were to cover CX, communication might be manual, CSAT, which is customer satisfaction, it might be weak, and there might be a cumbersome UI. So The thing is that based on these common challenges, I know SAP already has certain set of solutions that are given out, LOB level solutions. On top of that, Sierra has built these LOB enhancers that we're going to cover in the next slide. These LOB enhancers, for example, smart budgeting and forecasting, it's our FP&A tool that can be aligned with the specific line of business, with a specific line of function. But the idea is that you can get insightful data for conducting such activities with the easy UI through the power of BTP. Same thing goes for DSC. We have a LOB enhancer called spend visibility. And then, for example, in ISBN, based on the LOB challenges that we face, such as hidden spending threats, cash flow, spend values, pricing, compliance, XYZ, we have specific LOB enhancers. And the idea is that by the end of it, Sierra gives these particular value-added features and benefits, such as easy setup. We come in, set up the tasks, set up the projects within not years, but months, not months, but weeks. We are able to deliver what would have been done within, let's say, a bigger time frame. So I know most of us are familiar with how IT time frames turn out. You sign up for a one-year project, they might extend, but hey, we try to keep that time on the low. We try to keep your costs on the low, and we try to minimize the risks as much as we can. Going on towards the solution sets that we have offered. On the left-hand side, you will have, on the right-hand side, you will have the Enterbridge line of solution. Now, being in Houston, it comes with the territory. There are a lot of oil and gas guys that have approached us. There have been certain level of chats that there are certain practices within a certain module that needs to be extended. What's the best that you guys can do? So Sierra, just like the case study that we discussed, has championed a bunch of these BTP wins. And through the help of SAP USA as well as SAP Waldorf, we are able to pioneer some of these solutions that are now extending modules such as PRA JVA, which is production revenue accounting, and joint venture accounting, something very specific to oil and gas. And thus we have built these specific line of business solutions for oil and gas, such as owner's relation portal, payout management, and first purchaser, all of them having their own specific big business function. But on the other side, we have the cross-LOB OhZone line of solutions. The idea is that you want to effectively manage key tasks using auto-enhanced system integration, create custom work teams, all with the access to real-time data, and of course deliver improved results at significant cost savings. The idea is that it's almost like a hand in glove. It can fit your need based on your requirement. That's the idea. That's the OhZone line of solutions. I'm going to start with SBF. That's the smart budgeting and forecasting tool. You're getting a complete end-to-end tool that basically helps you with your financial planning and analysis, that helps you building the budgets from the ground up, going through the workflow of approving of the set budgets. And finally, when you're attaching the set budgets to a program, especially if this was built for the public sector, but now we have extended it to meet other needs as well, you can attach that specific budget with that program and see how it's been doing. Basically, you can attach key metrics to that specific program and see, okay, has this budget done the most that we could have actually asked from it? That's a question that's, of course, troubling a lot of the public sector clients, that we want to make most of the amount of money that has been allocated for a specific task. So that's why we put the metrics behind how your budget has done for that specific program. Going down the line, I'm going to cover PPM, which is Project Portfolio Management, Remote Project Management, and Capital Project Builder. Now it's management, that's a bit of a change, but it's Capital Project Builder. The idea is that all these three apps are your complete PMO automation on cloud, built on the BTP platform. Any sort of subsystems that you might have, it can connect freely. And the idea is that based on the guidelines given by PMI, that's the Project Management Institute, and the best practices that have been labeled by them, these three solution sets together form your remote PMO automation. So for your project portfolio management, you can basically manage the entire portfolio based on the organizational goals that your specific company has set up for that particular year. You can judge the project ideas that are going in based on the merits. You can basically do a quick, how do you say, you can compare the ideas with each other. You can actually add insightful data points to each and every one of these project ideas through a collaborative measure. And then you can activate or deactivate the set ideas if you want these projects to be added for that specific year. Same thing goes for the remote project management side. This is the execution of those ideas. All of the projects, including your Gantt charts, setting up the WBS, assigning phase-wise breakdown of what's the budget's going to be like, how much the invoices, all the different details that are present within executing of a project that is happening within RPM. It also goes further more than that, that you can even add resources and they can book their timesheets and do all the mundane tasks that, of course, seem very troubling. But through the help of BTP, through the help of the better UI and UX that we have built, we can easily take them through this process with ease. And capital project management is something that is being talked about by tier 1 oil and gas guys as we speak. And the idea behind this is that if you're running a subsystem of S4 that is EPPM, that's Enterprise Project and Portfolio Management, I know many people might be familiar with it, many people might not know, but it's a project and portfolio management tool that's offered within SAP. The idea is that if you're running that, or if you're not running that, it's a complete one-to-one built on the BTP platform. So anything from setting up of your portfolios to your projects to getting your CAD drawings signed off, utilizing DocuSign, all of these things are being done for your capital-intensive projects in CPM. So it's pretty much a good breakdown of all of these solutions that are currently present on the App Store. Please feel free to visit them. And of course, at the end, we have remote DevOps. It's your 360 DevOps and incident management tool. Nothing much to it, but again, we are putting in the best practices that have been given out so that we can best align with what the customers need. So just a quick rundown of what OhZone is all about and Enerbridge is all about. Sorry about that. Now, the idea has been so far that people are going to move to the cloud. We're going to see that happen. People are trying to, especially SAP is trying to tell you, keep your core clean. What does that mean, keeping your core clean? I know it's almost like market speak now that everybody says keeping your core clean, but the question is how you're going to do it, what are you going to do, and when are you going to do that thing, right? Especially if you're moving from a core upgrade, if you're going from ECC to S4, if you're going to a core upgrade, what are the things that you must do when it comes to a heavily customized core, when it comes to enhancements that have been done directly to your core, whether these enhancements are being utilized, are not being utilized, whether you need to kill them, whether you need to move them to BTP, all of them are being answered in this. This is our C3 assessment, Clean Core Conversion Assessment. It's free of cost. Within 1 week, we'll give you a complete idea of all of the RISE-F objects that are present within your system. We can give you an as-is and to-be architecture, how it's going to look like on the BTP side. We're also going to give you a roadmap of how that migration might look like, and we're also going to demo BTP to you. Because for the folks that are just starting out on BTP, the question is, what can BTP do? We're going to tell you how it works out, what are the various facets within BTP, what kind of licenses and services you might require for your specific tasks. All of that is being covered in the C3 assessment, and the best thing is it's free. So within 1 week, you're going to get all the RISE-F objects, the complete inventory, the overview, the as-is and to-be architecture, and yeah, that's pretty much it on the Clean Core Conversion Assessment side. If you have any questions, please feel free to ask, and thank you again so much to Bill, to Kavi, to Chris for hosting us, and of course ASAG as well, and we can open up to the questions now. Thank you.
Hey, I'm interested to know the AP and AR side solution. Is it, you said there is a report that was developed and it is a drill down report that can get to the lines. Is it in S4 report or SAC report, or what kind of report is this?
Yeah, so it's kind of a hybrid report. Basically, we took advantage of the BW IP layer in S4. So we built the queries out of it. So basically, we built the data model in S4, so where you can consume using the BEX query. So you can report it either in SAC, and from there you can drill down. Basically, if your report is high level, like you don't want to see the detail level of the report. So at header level, we give the report, and we give like hyperlinks to the, for example, if it's a AR report, AR open invoice document. So you can, if you want to see the detail level of the items present in it, you can click the hyperlink. It takes you to the SAP screen, and where you can see the detail drill down of the line items.
So basically, it's just like one dashboard from there they can see all the
Yes.
AP, and that can drill down to other report or things like that.
Exactly. Yeah,
like
exactly.
like
You can have the ability to go back to SAP screen and see at the detail level. You don't need to see at the dashboard level or at some specific report level. You don't want to see all the detail attributes of that transaction, right? So that's the idea. So we give at the dashboard level, and you can have the ability to drill down and go at a detail level and see.
Okay. And another quick question is, did you use any vendor invoice management on the AP side, or is it all you had to develop everything like
Yeah, so
custom
basically,
development?
yeah, we did not go from scratch. So we take advantage of the standard views which SAP gives. So that's the best practice we follow in our developments. So we take it, and if it does not fit for our solution, so we go and copy that and enhance it, and then we go from there. We don't do from the scratch.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. The question is, I think there was one slide, if I remember correctly, it was AR related, where the user has to take certain actions from the report, something. Did you implement like that in SSE, like, or it's just a link going back?
I'll attempt some of that, but you know, some customers don't like to pay on time. So when our cash collection people call them and say, hey, what's going on with your payment? And they go, I never got an invoice. So now someone has to send them an invoice, right? So that's what we're talking about there, is we'll put a comment in there that says, NGL Revenue Group, please send customer an invoice. And then they are responsible to look every day at their specific portions of the business. They see those comments, then they do what they need to do, and then go back and say, Cash Apps, I've done what I needed to. Now it's sitting out there for you to work on collection. You know, wait 20 days, whatever it is. So it's a way of maintaining a comment structure, and there's a history of those comments. So as you work to do your collection, that's how that would work. And the AP one works very similar to that, but that's more internal around, hey, I got an AP, I got an invoice, I don't have a GR, I got a GR, where's my AP? That's more so internal. We're going back and forth to share information to find out where the gap is to clear that, you know, three-way match.
So any transactional part, user has to still go to S4 and then execute it.
The report will link you right back to it. You don't have to, you don't have to open another window and go put in the document number or anything. It just click on it and goes. And I think back to your question, we've got several views of the AR. One is at a customer level and one is at a transaction level. So sometimes you just want to look at the customer and you want to see which ones are the worst offenders, if you will. And then from there you can also look. You can also run the reports just for a customer or just for a company code or anything. We've got bookmarks set out there for different lines of business, so you can run it all for just, you know, natural gas or refined products or whatever, and it'll pull in the appropriate company codes that make up that segment. Yep.
Question on the comments. So did you say you have a intelligence built in to generate the standard comments, or?
I'll let you talk to me.
Yeah.
That sounds architecture to me. I'm the business side. So I don't know.
Thank you, Bill. Thanks for taking that. So yeah, basically we have rules we can define, but with the ATP, they have different complex processes. They don't want to do it, but basically we can give set of rule algorithm where you can, based on specific region or specific company code, we can assign it to specific analyst or specific department. We can auto assign that.
Got it. Thank you. Just general question on the BTP. So congratulations, guys. Great job done with the BTP, what you guys done so far. Just for a customer who is not on BTP yet, if we want to start off, so what skill set you recommend to have for something like what you have done in the OhZone apps, right? Something similar. We know what we want, or maybe we, you know, what skill set do you see if we want to go there and look out for to build a practice, or maybe go look out and reach you guys? What skill set do we internally should have?
You're talking about your internal skill sets with respect
Yes,
to
either
BTP,
to
right?
manage, as a
Yeah, so basically, when you go for any, if you are into BTP, so basically your implementation partner or whoever it is, so they can give workshops and trainings. Basically, in your infrastructure, like in your company, you need to have at higher level, infrastructure level, what are all the service to be activated. So that is higher level needed, but in the ground level, it's kind of app. You just need how to access it. So basically, we support all the apps that we do. So the kind of skill set what you need is just how to use the app, or we go from there. Unless if you want to do your own infrastructure development, like own apps, if you want to build it, so if you have your team, say for example DevOps, or you have internal team, so they can take it forward next level. But with respect to apps, what we deliver, we support those apps whatever we give. So the skill set that we needed is just to use those apps that we provide as part of it. And if there is any need, for example, a manual task, or if any clearing process that we need to do, so we will give all the KT for those.
So we can take you through the process if you're trying to do an independent setup as well. If you're trying to do it yourself, the idea about the clean core assessment, especially in the first aspect, the demo of BTP, we're going to cover all the services, all the license types, all the things that you require to know before you take that step forward. So that's also covered by us as well. But yeah, integration suite, I believe, is everybody knows CPI at this point. So of course, that's always a good starting point too.
Thank you.
Thank you.
One last quick question. Anybody has one? Sure. All right.
Yeah, Bill says, "Oh boy," because I'm also Energy Transfer. That's my business side. I'm the IT side. So it's always dangerous to have your business folks show up at these conferences. By the way, guys. So Bill, you've had a chance to use this now for about a quarter. What sort of things do you see that could be improved? Do you see AI in here? Do you see some other things in here that might help this?
There's some aspects of that. Maybe not so much on the project side, but definitely on the AR and the AP, we're looking at some of that around, I think Kavi hit on it a little bit, is some of the auto clearing based on certain matches and things like that. So there are some other aspects of this that we're looking at. And we have slates of initiatives we have each year that we're working on different ways to, again, remove that manual work and move to value added. One of those is an automation of cash applications. So we will be doing some other projects to further what we've already learned. So, all right. Well, I thank you all for your time. I don't know if you want to close us out or whatever.
No, I think that was perfect. Yeah, thank you all for your time. And again, you all have a great day now. Thank you.